All right, welcome back, everyone, for another episode of Interventions and Detentions. I'm Brad.
And I'm Kylie.
And we are coming at you with episode 112.
Wow.
We are going up the rails quickly here.
Safe and sound. What are we talking about today, Brad?
Hey, we're going to talk about school safety, and we have a very special guest with us today. It's our very own SRO, Officer Tom Lock. Tom is our Central Noble Primary School resource officer, and we're going to let him tell a little bit about himself, and then we're going to hit him with some questions to talk all things school safety. So,
Awesome.
Tom, welcome to the podcast.
Brad, Kylie, I'm proud to be here.
Tell us a little bit, Tom, about what you've done in the past in law enforcement, just a quick overview, and what got you here to be our SRO at Central Noble Primary.
Well, it's a long story. So
We've got time.
Well,
Go ahead.
We got some, but
We got a little bit of time.
40 years underneath me. So,
Wow.
40 years.
so started out with
that's
Ligonier.
older than I am.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry. So started out at Ligonier Police Department. Done about 20 years there. Retired out, and then went to. And in between that, I was part-time at Kendallville and Albion Police Department.
Wow.
So I had a bunch of uniforms in the closet all the time. And then retired out of there and then went to Albion PD as the town marshal there. So
Wow, we have a former town marshal on our hands right now?
yeah,
Celebrity.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
Proud to
Okay.
say that I've not ever been pulled over by Officer Locke.
Very
so.
proud to say that. Very proud.
Yeah, well.
So Tom's got a lot of years, it sounds like, in law enforcement, and I think he's going to talk a little bit. It ran in the family, is that correct?
Yes, it did. My dad was town marshal for Albion for 46 years, I think.
Wow.
Long time. Son is in law enforcement right now, so
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
You guys just lock it up with the Locke family.
that was good.
Thanks.
That was good. Yeah, I like that.
We're going to let Tom talk a little bit about, again, what got him here, but really the topic is school safety. And, thinking back to when we were in school, Kylie, maybe, I don't know you, but me definitely, we did not have resource officers in our buildings.
we
I
did
come
not.
from that age group where kids drove their pickup trucks to school, had their shotguns in the back seat of the window.
I was that person.
They'd go hunting afterwards. It wasn't an issue. We didn't have the situations that unfortunately schools have had to deal with over the last few years, and put the necessity to have an SRO in buildings. So, it is a unfortunate thing that we need them, but it's a good thing that we have them.
I was going to say, we're thankful to have one, especially here at our building. I mean, we do have 3 buildings on our campus, and we're lucky enough to have a full-time SRO here.
Right.
So that's great.
For those of you that don't know much about Central Noble Primary, we're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. We're in a small town called Wolf Lake where there's one gas station, $1 General, American Legion.
There's not a stoplight.
Post office, no stoplight. We're pretty rural out here. And
We do have a drive-in, though.
We do have a drive-in.
It's pretty good.
Open in the summertime.
Yep.
But we are literally at least 10 to 12 minutes away from a police department. So it's nice to have Officer Locke here on duty all the time. So, Tom, tell us what inspired you to become a school resource officer.
Well, so many years ago, I used to do a lot of. I was in K9, so I used to do a lot of demonstrations at the schools, and and you just see these young kids, how they were back then, and then dealing with all the years in law enforcement, you see how they grew up, and then you started dealing with them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So you started dealing in domestic violence and stuff like that. Well, so I'm thinking we need officers in the school to deter that early. So, like my position here, right at the primary, oh my gosh, this is the best place you can start. Show them their respect. Show them like, hey, hold that door for
Right.
for a girl that's coming in, and then we teach our kids here of, hey, you respect the women, you do this, because what they do is grow up and they learn that of their respect.
I think it also helps just to have a positive
Yes,
police
yes.
presence.
Yes.
I know, not everybody has a positive experience with police officers or law enforcement
Right.
or things throughout their life. Maybe their parents did it, maybe they haven't.
Right.
But to see you smiling every day,
Yes.
giving them high fives, giving them hugs, that just has to
Yes.
help them kind of set them up for success later
Yeah.
on, too. It's that early intervention piece. We've talked a lot about it on the pod, really, and this is just another part of that.
Right.
Another early intervention that we can give our students.
Yeah, we want to show them that you earn your respect by giving respect and stuff like that. So,
What's your favorite part of being the SRO here at Central Noble Primary?
the favorite part to me is just dealing with the kids and the staff. Don't get me wrong on that, but still, the kids are just amazing. Just the stuff they come up with, you just laugh.
Yes.
And you can see if there's a child that is in need or something's going on in their family life, and you just talk to them and see if you can help. And then even if you want to go further, I contact the parents and say, hey, what's going on? Can I help you? Can I do something?
Right.
What can I do to make the child feel better at school?
And that has to be kind of a cool part of your
Yes.
job, and have lived in the community, worked in the
Yes.
community
Know a
for
lot
so
of
long.
people.
You know a
Yes.
lot of those
Yes.
parents. You've seen
Yes.
the families, so it's kind of like you were saying. So you do maybe have that connection already
Right.
to start, and you are able to, I mean, you genuinely mean, hey, can I help you? Can I do this? Can I, whatever.
And
So,
the cool thing with Tom making those connections, not only does he see kids here in our building, but when we have events at the high school campus or
Right.
things like that, he's there. They
Right.
see him in that light too. So it's really great to see his presence at all these places and make those connections with our kids.
It's just not very fun anymore because they call you grandpa now.
well, you don't,
But that's all
I
right.
mean, come on.
Hey,
now.
that's a compliment,
It
Tom.
could be
That's
worse, I guess. Tom.
I'm just teasing.
So let's kind of dive into the role that you have here as an SRO in a school, because I know that's obviously different from being out, in law enforcement, out in the community. So what does a typical, and I say typical because we all know elementary days are never typical, but what does a kind of regular day look like for you here? What are some of the key things that you do, those kind of things?
Right. So usually what happens is once you get to school, I meet all the kids as they come in. I stay right by the doors. Our doors are always locked. And then when they come in, obviously, I hold the doors for them and stuff like that. I do not want anybody coming through except for the children or teachers or staff. So,
And you like to be that presence right there,
Yes.
that
Yeah,
first,
my gosh, yeah.
that
I
first
wanna-
thing
wanna-
people or
Yes.
person people see.
Yep. And then obviously after everybody's in, we secure the doors, and then I do my walk-arounds and make everything secure. The doors in the rooms are all secured, everything. And then, if somebody's out and about in the hallways, find out, hey, what's going on, if they're upset or something. And then I get a hold of, obviously, Mr. T and say, hey, we got a problem here, and we work it out and go from there. But and then, obviously, after that, I'm working on some kind of safety plans or whatever. So it's kind of a full day.
Yeah, definitely. Then you never know what's going to pop up, really.
Exactly.
You got to be ready at all times for
ready for
anything,
anything.
big or small. So
Talk a little bit, Tom, about how you collaborate with staff and with me. Like, it's nice because we're in close proximity in the office. We share a lot of conversations throughout the day just from across doors. But how do you work with other staff members throughout the day?
So working with them is also fun also. So if there is a problem, I get a hold of them and we talk about it. It's what you have to do is communicate. You got to communicate, communicate, and that's what I've just been harping on for a long time is make sure everybody's up to speed of what's happening, what's going on, what we need, and situational awareness, basically.
right, kind of like the procedures and,
Yes.
and those kind of things for a fire drill
Yeah.
or whatever might come up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's talk about, because we know there's misconceptions, of that people have of law enforcement officers, of an SRO. So what are some of those common misconceptions people might think of, maybe what you do every day or something like that, that you could share?
Okay, there's several types of misconceptions that people have on school resource officers, and here's a few of them that I can I've heard of and stuff, but like SROs are just security guards with a badge. I hear that all the time, but many people assume that SROs are only present to provide security, and don't get me wrong, they are. However, but the role is much broader than that. They're law enforcement officers, they're mentors, they're educators who work to build relationships with the students and staff while also maintaining safety in the schools. So
I think that's a really interesting one,
Yeah.
because when you
Yeah.
do that, I mean, yeah, I could see that be a misconception. That's cool.
I think, your presence, and that's what he's just there to secure the building, which is a big part of the
Oh,
job,
yes, by
but
all means.
it does go so much deeper than, with the relationships building with the kids and the teachers and the presence, and you're out in the building, you walk through the lunchroom, you see them in the morning, you're greeting kids, and it is definitely way more than just a security guard.
We see that, but maybe not everybody on the outside sees that.
Right.
And there's a few more, like I've heard the SROs are not trained to work with kids. Well, that's not right either. We have to go, not only do I have to go through the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy, you have to go through the SRO Academy.
Okay, so there is a specific for an SRO.
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know.
You have to have the school safety credentials. There's 3 different things that you have to be an SRO.
Okay.
And then a lot of them just assume they're regular police officers placed in schools without specialized training. Well, that's not true, because the SROs receive, obviously, the special training, working with youth, de-escalation techniques, adolescent development, and school-based law enforcement strategies. So we have to have all that stuff.
So not just anybody off the street can walk in and become an SRO.
And
it takes time and training.
Right. And then you have to have that special person that can deal with the children.
Absolutely.
Deal with the parents and stuff.
Yep.
And it takes a lot of patience, but my gosh, if you care about the kids and the parents, then you're in. You should be in.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking of some people that I know in law enforcement that probably wouldn't make a great SRO. They make a great law
I was
enforcement
going to say, there's nothing
officer.
wrong with that.
No, but it's you got to be cut out for that position, definitely. So it takes a lot of tact, I guess.
It does.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that we could go through, but we'd spend all night on it. But SROs are definitely needed. We know that
and well
because of
trained
the
for
news
the
media.
situations.
Yes,
Yeah.
by all means, yes.
Well, let's talk a little bit about school safety strategies, Tom. What are some of the key components of a really good school safety plan?
Well, there's a lot to go
I'd say
on
here
with
again,
that.
we could talk all night on this topic probably too.
Maybe just some of the top key things that you feel are really important in a safety plan.
Well, so I can give you a few of these. So school safety emergency preparedness is essential to protect the students, obviously, and the staff from unexpected events such as natural disasters, fires, medical emergencies, and security threats, and how the schools can assure them they're prepared for the emergencies. So there's you can develop an emergency plan, which we already have, train our staff and students, which we already did, communications and alerts. Those are very essentials for the parents and stuff. Secure the school environment, obviously, provide emergency supplies, what else? Mental health and counseling support, which we do all that stuff, and regular drills and updates. That's the biggest thing right there is training. Mm-hmm. Because once something happens, it becomes muscle memory, and then you're ready to go on any kind of emergency situations. So,
I think that's an important point to know. I mean, when you were in school, Brad, when I was in school, we've always done drills. We've always done fire drills. We've always, and sometimes you don't really understand why you're doing it. I mean, whatever. But I think it's important to note that, the more you practice, the more, if a situation did arise.
Right.
Well, and don't forget also, in the state of Indiana, it's required for schools to do this. So we have to do that.
And what's unfortunate, in my opinion, is because of the events in our world that have happened over the last 15, 20 years, it now has created this what if scenario.
Right.
We can practice lockdowns, we can practice,
Fire
drills, whatever. But when you get into the true safety or threats and safety conversations, I know a lot of us, well, what about this, Tom? Or what if this happens? Or this scenario? I mean, we can what if all day.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, whatever training we get and as many times as we practice drills, that's our best preparedness.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and don't forget also, school safety is important because it directly impacts the students. So well-being, academy success, overall development, is the reasons why it matters. And there's a few other things that, I could, like protecting the lives, promoting learning, mental, emotional well-being, encouraging attendance. That's the biggest thing right there.
Yeah.
If they have fun here, they'll want to come back.
Right. They feel safe.
Right.
They enjoy it. They feel comfortable in case something happens. Yeah, they're going to be here. Their attendance is going to be better.
Just building a positive
Their academics,
culture for the school is all we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So...
When you kind of talked a little bit just now through that, but talking about drills like lockdowns and evacuations to ensure safety, how do you do that, but also keep the anxiety of not only the kids down, but the staff members too?
Especially here at a primary, I feel like that is kind of a tricky kind of thing to kind of work through, just because we have some young kiddos, 5,
Right.
6-year-olds. That's pretty young to be having a drill of some type.
Right. And what we do is we try to make it fun for them. So before any of this happens, we get a hold of the teachers in the classrooms, and I've been in each individual classroom and I say, hey, we're going to be training on this. So it's training, so we're going to have fun while we're doing it. So that's how they get a little bit acclimated with the with the drills itself. They don't get scared. They go, oh, it's another training, and if something really happens, they won't know if it's training or not.
Right.
And they'll just go with it real good. So yeah, we do a lot of talking to the kids and to the classrooms and
Just kind of explaining
yes,
what you're doing, why
everything
we're
we're
doing
doing.
it.
Yep.
I think that's awesome.
Yep.
Because even though sometimes we think we want to shield kids from understanding those kind of things,
yeah, we don't.
yeah, I just think that
You gotta
they're
make
going to
it fun
feel
for
better.
them. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
If they understand it and they have all the information, even if it can be scary,
Yeah.
it's going to help in the long run.
Yes.
I really feel
Yeah.
that
And
way.
I think keeping it light will actually help them remember it better too.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like that muscle memory thing. The more you
Yes.
practice it, the more you make it lighthearted. It's going to just
Exactly
stick
right.
with them, and it's going to be automatic when we really do have to do something in real life, which we hope we never have to do. Talk a little bit maybe about parents and community members. What role, if any, do they play in school safety?
Oh, the same thing that we've been talking about basically is the parents are directly involved because the parents know that we are doing all the training. If they would ever want to come in and watch what we do, that'd be great. I would love that because then they know that hey, their kids are safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kids do want to come to school because of look at the stuff that these
Right.
guys are doing and
Yep.
protecting us and stuff like that.
Yep.
And the positive outlook of they're happy here, so they're going to learn here.
Right. Absolutely.
So, but the parents, I would love for them to come in and watch some of our stuff sometimes because it would make them feel a lot better.
I would
Absolutely.
agree.
Yeah.
And this is kind of on the heels, and we had actually invited Tom to be a guest before this, but we had a little situation last week that I would call a safety concern. Parents have been notified about it, obviously. For any parents that are listening, it shouldn't be a surprise. And we won't go into details about the situation, but Tom, stepped up right away and took his role very seriously as the SRO to kind of handle that situation. But what's the most important thing when those situations do arrive? It's not a drill. We've got a situation, a safety concern, if you want to call it that. What can staff and students do in that situation to make things go smoothly?
Just go what the training was all about. They've all been trained. We've all been trained in this. We do it quite a bit. So just go with the flow. Let us do our job and get it done quickly and hopefully safely.
Right.
But and we'll go through that situation a little bit. So it was just a custody thing, is all it was. But we didn't know how far it was going to go or whatever. So obviously, I was on alert. All the staff, the administration staff, was on alert, and we seen the individuals coming towards the door. They were stopped immediately by me, and I confronted them, and they were super nice. Don't get me wrong, they were awesome, but because we didn't have all of the answers
Or the information,
right, I could not allow them to come in and visit their children or whatever. I couldn't do that. And I felt bad, don't get me wrong, I'm human too, but
Right.
I have to go by what the law is and I have to go by what the safety is.
Yeah.
So, and they were explained if they wanted to come have lunch, they have to make an appointment, stuff like that. But after everything was done, nobody ever entered the building, they never will. The bottom line is, like I said, I'm old-fashioned. Nothing's going to happen on my watch. Period.
Hey, and we appreciate
And
that.
it didn't. And our kids were safe. Our
Yes.
staff was safe. Our building was safe. And at the end of the
Yes.
day, that's what
That's the
we
most
expect.
important.
And we want.
And the nice thing about this is, after everything was done, we had a debriefing here.
Yep.
We go
I
through
was just
everything.
going to say that, yeah.
And then staff was all notified.
Parents were notified.
And then Mr. T went ahead and contacted the parents, let them know what was going on. There was no danger at all, which was awesome. And we will just continually do that.
Yeah.
We will always have communications flowing.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I think, kind of to sum up that whole scenario, I think one of the most important things for staff, students, everything is that communication
Yes.
piece.
And parents.
And parents.
Yes.
Just keeping informed, waiting to hear the information, because sometimes we can get a little antsy, like we don't know as
Right.
adults, and we want to make sure we have the information, but sometimes you just got to take a step,
Yep.
take a minute, let us handle it, or let Officer Locke handle it. But that communication piece between everybody
Right.
is so important.
Yeah,
And the nice thing about this was I was also notified, or I notified my other units that was from county to my chief is what was going on, and the
Okay.
superintendent before anything happened.
Right.
So we had units around besides just me, so everything was taken care of, everything was safe, there was no problems, and
it was really a great situation, in my opinion, looking back, because it's not a drill. So you really have to,
Right.
you're forced to deal with it. And again, the debriefing process lets us know what we could do better next
Yep.
time,
Correct.
what we did well,
Yes.
which I really felt like we did a lot of things well. So
I
it
did
just
too.
Yeah.
reinforces, hey, we do know what
Yep.
we're doing.
We
and-
can
and
do it
we
if
can make this
something,
happen.
unfortunately would happen.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
don't
But it's a
forget,
great
you guys,
process
this is
to go
not-
through.
This is not my first rodeo.
Right,
That's right.
right.
That helps a lot.
Okay, yeah. 40 years, I remember.
40 years, old
Hey,
Grandpa Tom.
old Grandpa.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's a lot.
I think it's time for some rapid fire questions. This is one of our favorite segments
Yeah.
on the pod when we have a special
This
guest.
is becoming
I like
a regular.
This is a regular.
Yeah.
So
Shoot 'em. Let's go.
All right, here we
Shoot
go.
'em. Did you hear?
That is
Poor choice
an
of words, Officer Tom.
joke. Yeah. All right. Favorite school lunch growing up. Tom, start us off.
Oh, the pizza was awesome. Because
Okay,
it was
everybody always says the
it was
pizza.
real pizza back then.
So-
it was awesome.
Not
So-
the square or
yeah,
the
they were.
rectangle.
No, it was the squares.
But it was homemade.
yes.
See, Superintendent
Remember?
Morgan.
I'm old. Come on.
Okay.
Superintendent Morgan talked about the square pizza, but I'm pretty sure it was frozen
Yeah,
when he was here. But
he wasn't talking
Oh,
about that.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
All right. What did you want to be when you grew up? When you were a kid?
I
Have
know
you always
this
wanted
is-
to be a police
This is going
officer?
to be a shocker, but a fireman
Yeah, there we are.
and a policeman.
Which-
I guess when
which
you
I
see
am
your
both.
when your
Yeah.
dad was doing that, you
Yes.
probably okay. That was an easy one.
All right.
Brad, what'd you want to be when you grew up?
wow, honestly, thinking back, I don't really remember elementary age, like what I wanted to be. I can remember in high school thinking I was going to be a teacher for maybe a little chunk of
Yeah.
time. Then I kind of went into business, and that was not my place, and I ended up in education. So here I am. but-
Podcaster? Did
yeah,
you think?
I would have had it been something at that time, but it
That's
wasn't.
true, right?
What about you?
I don't know. Probably a professional athlete
Yeah.
at that time.
I wanted to be paid to have fun.
I wanted to have a lot of
I
fun.
didn't even think about the money.
I wanted to have a lot of fun, and I
Yeah.
do. I'll stick with that.
Don't forget, you guys. I started riding with my dad at 6 years old.
Wow.
That's awesome.
He had me in that police car at 6
That
years
is
old.
cool.
It was
That's
fun.
cool.
Well, and side note, if I could do something different, I wouldn't mind going into law enforcement. One of my buddies, Officer Dunafin, Detective Dunafin from
yeah,
Double County
Detective
Sheriff's Department.
Dunafin,
Shout
shout
out to
out.
Sean Dunafin. I've ridden with him a few times, and it's pretty exhilarating. When something big goes down and lights are going, and that car kicks into overdrive, and
Yeah.
it's kind of fun. And just knowing that you're going to help somebody, that's a big thing. So,
Yeah, I call Sean Chief.
Chief, all right, Chief Dunafin.
Hey, shout out to Chief Dunafin.
All right, back to the rapid fire questions.
Hey, I know this answer for
I do
you,
too.
but go
I
ahead,
do
Brad.
too.
Ask him.
Favorite drink?
Coffee.
Oh,
I thought
not
you were gonna
what
say-
I was going to
you
say.
got two. You start
give
the
us
morning
your
with
second
coffee.
one.
Oh, yeah, but that coffee, and then I go to iced tea.
Yeah,
goes to
I
iced
love
tea.
iced
A lot of iced
Hey,
tea.
and don't forget, I'm a policeman, so I love donuts.
He does love
What's your
donuts.
favorite donut?
I don't know. I do the chocolate. I do chocolate
He'd
donuts.
eat just about any
He
donut
should
that
say
came his
any
way.
is my favorite
yeah,
kind.
any. All are my favorite. Dream vacation spot.
Now, you guys already know me.
Yeah, we do.
He wants
I have
sunny
to be
beach.
I have
Sunny
to be
beach.
somewhere on the ocean.
With some donuts.
And sand.
Yep.
Oh,
And the
that's-
sun. We
that's
know.
just amazing.
He loves it.
Um,
Ooh.
I like this question, and I don't know the answer to this. If you weren't in law enforcement, and I'm going to even say law enforcement or fire, what would you do?
No, I wanted to be a career firefighter.
Okay.
Okay, but if you couldn't be.
I wanted to go in the military.
Okay.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah, I
it
could see
aligns
that.
with that.
Yeah.
What branch and what would you want to do in the
I was
military?
going to do the Army,
Okay.
but I got the bug at 18 years old and of being a policeman, and that's where
Hey,
I
we're
wound
thankful
up.
you did. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I know I don't think you're a big TV show person, but do you have a favorite cop show?
Yep, Hill Street Blues or Adam 12.
Oh, Hill Street
I know.
Blues.
Hill
That's
Street Blues.
I'm showing my age.
No,
right
but
there.
I remember Hill Street Blues. That was
love
I
it.
even know a little bit about Hill
Yeah.
Street Blues.
No, Hill
Right,
Street
and one
Blues
Adam
or
12, I
Adam
heard
12.
What about
Yep.
Blue Bloods?
Yeah, that's good, but it's more drama than anything.
Well, I think that's why I like it. Blue
Yeah.
Bloods.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Interesting.
Shout out to Scott Reese, because he's a huge Blue Bloods fan.
Is he really?
Oh, yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Scotty Reese
Yeah.
with the Blue Bloods. I'm trying to think of, like, my wife watches a lot of the Chicago Fire, Chicago
yes.
PD.
Yeah.
She likes those. She's a nurse, so she does the medical thing, but they always bleed over and
Oh,
one or the other.
yes.
I'm trying to think, like,
Those are pretty good.
does Andy Griffith count?
Oh, yeah.
I liked Andy Griffith's show back in the day.
Barney.
Oh.
Well, they,
Why do
they
I
still,
hang out with you guys?
Yeah, but they still call me Barney. And I say, I got to find my bullet. And I always,
Andy!
and then, you know what I always say? Well, my one bullet that was in my shirt pocket, I bent over and it fell into the stool.
Yeah, we know.
my
We
gosh.
know. Yeah, we know.
Well, Tom,
Yikes.
one piece of advice for students and staff that you could give them when it comes to school safety, that one thing that you wanted to share.
My best words.
Okay.
Situational awareness.
Okay.
Always be aware of your surroundings, no matter what. If you see something, say something.
Even if it turns out to be nothing.
Nothing,
we would,
exactly.
Yeah, we'd much rather
Exactly.
you say something, us check it
Yes.
out, you check it out.
You got it.
Just to be safe.
Yeah.
I love that.
And
That's
I-
a great.
I feel like probably more so staff than students are good about that.
Yes.
We've got a
Yeah.
lot of, they see things maybe that look out of the ordinary.
But
Let
our
Tom know.
our kids have done that to me
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
So it's just been amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a box that was outside of the front doors here
Mm-hmm.
that was by the bushes. So the one says, "Hey, what's in that box?" Well, I never seen it. Well, you don't know what's in there.
Right.
It could be
Yep.
an explosive device. It could be something. So obviously, hey, they let me know. Went and checked it out. And it was taken care of.
I think that says a lot about you. I think that says a lot about the school, that the kids feel comfortable
Yes.
talking.
Yes,
That
exactly
they
right.
just feel.
Sorry, I'm laughing because I'm thinking of there was a time when one of my early years as a principal, I had called a staff meeting, and I got to school before all the teachers got there, found this box and a little cooking timer, put the cooking timer on, tick, tick, tick,
Oh no!
put it in the box, just set it randomly in the hallway. Nobody noticed it.
Are you kidding
Didn't say a
me?
word. Didn't say a word. Nope. And I had and we had our staff meeting. I was like, guys, you missed this random box.
Yikes.
Exactly.
You know,
Situational
Yep.
awareness.
That's
right
right.
there.
Big on that.
Oh boy. So anyway, hey Tom, thanks for being our
Yeah,
guest and
thank
talking school
you.
safety.
You were a little nervous to come on the pod today, and
But
Well,
you
you know,
really-
I'm kind of a shy person.
yeah,
we know you're not.
yeah,
but
that's not true.
we
but-
appreciate you talking
Yes.
school safety. I know we could sit here and talk for hours
Yeah.
about it because it's a hot topic and not one that's always easy to talk about, but we appreciate you being here in our building, having your presence
Yep,
and what
we
you're
do.
doing for our kids and teachers and staff and parents. So just keep up the good job. We appreciate you.
And I want to say one word, or say something here. So, since I've been here, it is amazing. The staff is just number one to me.
Shout out to the CNP staff
We have an
today.
awesome staff.
Yeah, we do have an awesome
And our
staff.
kids here are the most well-mannered kids
We have
I've
great
seen.
kids.
Most days they are, yeah.
Unbelievable.
We all make mistakes, but they learn
So,
from them and they
what
get
I'm
better.
going to do is shout out to the parents of our kids.
Okay. Wow.
Because they have done
Another
an
shout out.
awesome job.
We love a good
So-
shout out on this
so
pod.
it's just
Okay,
it's,
hey,
it's a
thank
wonderful
you,
place to be.
parents, staff, students, community members.
Keep it up.
Keep it
Yes.
up.
We love our staff, our
We do.
community. We are very fortunate to be
Yeah,
where we
we
are.
really are.
Yes.
So
You guys make our job easier, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Tom, for being here.
you.
Kylie, we're going to cue up that music. It's that
do you
time.
want to tease the next episode?
Yeah, let's tease that just a little bit. I think we're going to do something called After the Bell, where Kylie and I are going to come at you with what do we do after hours? When that dismissal bell rings at 3:15, what do teachers do? And there's lots of things that we're going to talk about. We'll even
Should
maybe
be
get
pretty
some.
good.
I think it'll be really good. Maybe get some feedback from some of our staff members. We could hit them up. Hey, what do you do at 3:15?
Okay, I like it.
I think it'll be fun. Keep coming at us with your thoughts, comments, and questions. We appreciate all the feedback.
Yeah, we've had some really good feedback lately, so good
Yep.
questions, and keep it up.
Keep it up.
Okay.
Kylie?
It's that time. Class dismissed.